Hey YouTube, it's Patrick, and today I'm going to be doing a video about why the price of Bitcoin has been really stagnant. And pretty much if the price of Bitcoin's been stagnant, so has Bitcoin as a whole. And the reason why I haven't done a video in so long since the whole Mt. Gox debacle, because there hasn't been any new news. There's been a lot of news, but it's been a lot of repetitive news. There's a lot of new companies that are taking Bitcoin. There's been a lot more attacks on Bitcoin exchanges. That's one of the main reasons I think Bitcoin is struggling, because still here in America you have to go through one of these untrusted sites, one of these exchanges. Once again, I still recommend CampBX. I did a video on that, the safest and cheapest way to buy Bitcoin. I still think that's a good reputable exchange to work with. However, I feel that if we can bridge that gap, with Bitcoin ATMs or something of that sort, that Bitcoin would take off a lot more, and they won't have to work with these, people won't have to work with these sites that sometimes are good, and sometimes, like Mt. Gox, you lose all your money. It's too big of a risk for a lot of mainstream people to come into Bitcoin. So that, number one, I think that the lack of security on exchanges is one of the number one problems. The number two problems is the Chinese government, unfortunately, affecting the price of Bitcoin. This has happened again. Once again, this is nothing new. China's already threatened to ban Bitcoin, said they were going to ban Bitcoin, and then nothing happened. This happened twice now. It was last month where they were, leading up to this date where they were going to ban Bitcoin and not allow anybody to put any money on the exchanges. But that date came and went, so people from China are allowed to buy Bitcoin. I think the people of China are kind of tired of buying into it and selling it, and that's why it's been a little stagnant. Plus, the United States government has been selling their 285,000 Bitcoins. It's either 285 or 385,000 Bitcoins that they took from the Silk Road one when they took it down. They've only sold $3 million of that Bitcoin, but so that means they have a lot more to sell. So they're going to be unloading this, and I imagine they're going to be doing it at cheaper prices. And then probably the last thing that's been making it stagnant is just the mining. Everybody is putting a lot of money and technology into mining, and they're trying to do it while it's easy, even though it gets harder every day. That's why you got to do it today while it's easy. It's going to be, it's easier today than it is going to be tomorrow, because the difficulty is just going to keep going up and up. So those are, once again, we need a better way to bring people into the Bitcoin market from the exchanges. Two, China needs to kind of be regulated. Unfortunately, they're a huge part of the Bitcoin market. I've heard, numbers of 50 and 60% of the Bitcoin mining and all that kind of stuff. I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but they are a big part of Bitcoin. So if their government can kind of just, ease off of making any regulations, that's going to smooth it out. Regardless, Bitcoin will be successful as long as people stick with it, regardless of what happens in China or not. But as of right now, they're a big force, and they're as more people get into Bitcoin, China's influence will shrink. But until then, that's going to be a big problem. So those are a few things that I think that Bitcoin needs to, not necessarily Bitcoin needs to work on, but people around the Bitcoin market, they need to come up with better, more secure exchanges. And then there's not too much you can do about China and the Chinese government, unfortunately. But other than the fact that there's still people trying to save Mt. Gox, which I think is kind of funny. But other than that, that's all the news that I have right now. So I hope you found this informative, and I'll see you on YouTube.